Why does gossip feel so good that you can't resist it? Someone leans in close, they lower their voice and go, "Okay, don't tell anyone." What's your response? You lean in too, right? You can't help it. Something in you just lights right up. For 1 second, it feels great. Then comes a little flush of shame. Ugh, why do I love this? You swear you're not a gossip. Really, you're not one of those people. So here's the question this whole video answers. Why does talking about other people feel so good? And why do you feel so bad about it? To understand the pleasure, we first have to understand the shame. Why does everyone think gossip is bad? Maybe because it's petty, mean, the whisper behind your back, middle school drama, office politics, tabloid trash. That's why we lower our voices, why we say don't tell anyone, why we insist we're not the kind of person who does it. We're taught that gossip is a character flaw, that decent people rise above it. So if you enjoy it, even for a second, maybe that says something ugly about you, right? Well, no, because almost everything we assume about gossip begins with a definition that's far too narrow. Here's a question that sounds easy. What actually counts as gossip? People have studied that for years, and the surprising part is where they landed. It really comes down to two things. You're talking about someone, and that someone isn't in the room. That's the whole thing. Now notice what's missing. Nothing in there says it has to be cruel. The mean part was never the point. Here's the strange part. For all our assumptions about gossip, surprisingly, little research was done in everyday life. We just assumed it was nasty. Two psychologists at UC Riverside decided to check. Robbins and Alexander Karan. They wanted the truth, not the stereotype. In 2019, they handed hundreds of people a small recorder. It clipped on and rode along all day. Every few minutes, it switched on by itself. It grabbed a few seconds of real life. Then it shut off again. Nobody can perform for a thing they forget is there. So it caught people exactly as they are. At lunch, in the car, on the phone. Over days, it piled up thousands of clips. Then Robbins and Karan sat down to listen. They were waiting for a wave of mean girl energy. And here's what they actually heard. The nasty stuff was only about 15%. More than 3/4 of it was totally harmless. Who's dating who got the job, who's moving, just the news of other people's lives. And everyone in their studies was doing it. About 52 minutes a day. So gossip isn't the habit of petty people, it's just what people do, which opens up a more interesting question. Set aside whether it's good or bad for now. Why are we so drawn to doing it? 52 minutes a day is a lot. It turns out gossip is only part of the bigger picture. Remember, gossip is talk about people who aren't there. But that's not the only way we obsess over each other. We talk about the friends right beside us, our families, ourselves. Decades ago, a British anthropologist named Dunbar became obsessed with a strange question. Why did humans, of all animals, become such relentless talkers? He had a hunch, but to test it, he needed a single number. How much of our talk is about people? So he went where people actually talk. Cafes, bars, train carriages. He'd settle in nearby and quietly listen. Every 30 seconds, he noted the topic. Work, the weather, an idea, a person. Conversation after conversation, he tallied it up. And the answer caught me off guard. Roughly 2 out of every 3 things we say are about other people, whether they are there or not. Not ideas, not work, not the weather, each other. Our lives, our bonds, our people. We are completely, hopelessly obsessed with each other. And that's the real mystery. Why are we built like this? And here's the idea Dunbar was chasing. It goes back millions of years, back before we could talk at all. Picture a group of monkeys. How do they stay a group? They groom each other. Hours of picking through each other's fur. It's not really about the fleas, it's about trust. I'm here. We're okay. It's how they say I've got you without words. But grooming has a problem. You can only groom one friend at a time. You can't pick fleas off a whole tribe. So somewhere along the line, we found a shortcut. A way to groom lots of people at once. Talking about each other. Gossip is grooming with words instead of fingers. One voice can reach the whole circle. And just like that, a small band could become a tribe. But gossip isn't just about making friends, it's also about spotting enemies. Think about trust for a second. How do you know who to trust? You could find out the hard way. Get burned, get cheated, learn your lesson, or someone could just tell you first. Hey, watch out for that guy. That's gossip, and it's a kind of superpower. It means a cheater can't just find a new victim easily. Word travels. Their reputation arrives before they do. In experiments, this alone makes strangers cooperate. No police, no punishment, just the knowledge that people talk. Gossip may have been one of our earliest systems for enforcing reputation. And you don't have to get burned to learn. Someone else already made the mistake. Their story becomes a free warning for you. Every warning, every story, every "you won't believe what she did." Each one is a lesson someone else paid for. You inherit the whole group's hard lessons, without the bruises, but it runs both ways. You don't just take these warnings in, you actually feel the pull to pass them on. But what drives that urge to warn other people? Is warning people just an excuse to trash talk? Or is it something kinder? Picture yourself as a volunteer in the experiment that tested exactly this. You're hooked up to a heart monitor, you watch two strangers play a game for money, and you catch one of them quietly cheating. He's robbing the other player, who has no clue. Something happens in your chest. Your heart rate climbs. You feel it. That's your body reacting to someone being wronged. Then you get a chance to warn the next player. But sending that warning costs you real money. That study, run by a team at Berkeley, led by Matthew Feinberg, found most people paid to send the warning. Gladly. The moment you warn the next player, your racing heart settles back down. Warning a stranger doesn't wind you up. It's the thing that calms you down. So that itch to whisper, "Be careful of him," that's not you being petty. In that moment, that's you being protective. But the most surprising thing isn't just that we talk, it's how we've evolved a secret math to keep our gossip from blowing up in our faces. In 2025, a lab at Brown University led by neuroscientist Oriel Feldman Hall looked into how we choose whom to tell. First, they taught volunteers a made-up town. Who's friends with who's popular, who's a loner. People studied it until they knew everyone. Then the researchers handed them a secret, something juicy about one person in that town. And they watched. Who would you tell? The choices weren't random at all. People avoided the subject's close friends. They picked someone popular, but far from the subject, distant enough that it wouldn't get back, connected enough that the word would still spread. Then they checked it in the real world. Nearly 200 first-year students fresh in their dorms. Same hidden math, same careful choices. Nobody taught them to do this. They just did it. You run that same map in your head. Who knows who talks to who, and you do it without even noticing. Gossip isn't you losing control. It's you being quietly, brilliantly strategic. All of that explains why gossip matters, but it still leaves the question we started with. Why does it feel so good? The popular answer is dopamine. You'll often hear that gossip gives your brain a hit, like candy. It sounds scientific, but the evidence is blurrier than that. In 2015, researchers from China led by Xiaozhe Peng put people in an fMRI scanner and presented them with positive and negative gossip about themselves, their friends, and celebrities. Negative celebrity gossip activated the caudate, a region often involved in reward-related processing. But an fMRI scanner doesn't measure dopamine. It measures changes in blood flow. And different kinds of gossip produce different patterns. There was no single gossip button lighting up. So yes, gossip can feel rewarding, but a dopamine hit, just like candy, is a slogan, not a scientific finding. The honest answer is less catchy and more interesting. Gossip feels rewarding because social information matters to us. It tells us who belongs, who can be trusted, what changed, and where we stand. So let's go back to the beginning. Someone leans in, they lower their voice, they say, "Okay, don't tell anyone." And you feel that little spark. Now you know where it comes from. It isn't proof that you're shallow. It's an ancient social instinct, the urge to understand your group. Who did what? Who can be trusted? Who needs warning? Who belongs with whom? For our ancestors, that information mattered. It helped people build alliances, avoid cheaters, share lessons, and stay connected to the group that kept them alive. Your group chat may not look much like a circle of primates grooming one another, but underneath it, the same social machinery is still running. And the hesitation you feel afterward matters too, because information about another person has power. It can warn someone, it can protect them, it can make people feel closer, or it can humiliate someone who isn't there to answer. So the instinct itself isn't good or bad. What matters is what the story is doing once you pass it on. Is it helping, connecting, protecting, or is someone else's pain simply being used as entertainment? Humans gossip because we are intensely, helplessly social. That isn't a character flaw. But being social gave us the urge to share the story. Being decent means knowing when not to.